1. A civil service instructor designs a training program for new recruits. Which strategy best reflects adult learning principles? A. Delivering lengthy lectures with minimal interaction. E. Using real-world scenarios to connect content to experience. C. Focusing only on memorization of laws and rules. D. Requiring rote recitation of procedures. 2. During a mock civil service exam review, the facilitator notices learners struggle with problem-solving questions. Which evaluation method would most effectively measure improvement? A. Oral recitation of definitions. B. Short quizzes on terminology. C. Scenario-based practice tests. D. Attendance tracking. 3. A curriculum developer is tasked with designing study modules for the civil service exam. Which approach ensures alignment with curriculum development standards? A. Developing materials without reviewing exam competencies. B. Aligning lessons with exam competencies and adult learning needs. C. Basing the module solely on past exam questions. D. Using generic study skills unrelated to exam content. 4. An instructor explains a complex regulation to examinees. Which communication technique ensures clarity and understanding? A. Reading the regulation verbatim. B. Using jargon without definitions. C. Explaining in plain language with examples. D. Skipping details to save time. 5. A civil service mentor assists a candidate who failed the exam twice. Which mentoring technique is most effective? A. Ignoring the candidate's frustrations. B. Suggesting immediate retesting without reflection. C. Encouraging reflective learning and strategy adjustment. D. Repeating identical study methods. 6. When evaluating exam readiness, which tool offers the most reliable measurement? A. Informal conversations with learners. B. Structured practice tests with scoring rubrics. C. Casual observation during study sessions. D. Reviewing attendance sheets. 7. Which of the following best demonstrates compliance with regulatory requirements for civil service exam preparation programs? A. Designing courses based on personal preference. B. Ignoring state guidelines for civil service testing. C. Ensuring curriculum aligns with official exam standards. D. Creating unverified materials from social media. 8. A trainer provides feedback after a practice exam. Which type of feedback is most effective for adult learners? A. General praise without specifics. E. Immediate, constructive, and actionable feedback. C. Delayed feedback weeks later. D. Harsh criticism without guidance. 9. Which of the following demonstrates curriculum development that incorporates communication skills for civil service test takers? A. Excluding oral presentation practice. Including exercises that test written clarity and reasoning. C. Focusing only on memorization drills. D. Avoiding activities requiring interaction. 10. In preparing a civil service exam workshop, which evaluation approach ensures continuous improvement of the program? A. Ignoring participant feedback. B. Collecting and analyzing feedback for revisions. C. Only using pre-test results to guide content. D. Relying solely on facilitator opinion. 11. A facilitator integrates role-playing exercises into exam prep. This best supports A. Passive memorization. B. Experiential learning and critical thinking. C. Solely recall-based strategies. D. Reduced learner engagement. 12. A candidate struggles with time management during practice exams. Which mentoring approach is best? A. Advising the candidate to guess randomly. E. Practicing timed drills with strategic pacing techniques. C. Ignoring the problem until exam day. D. Reducing the number of questions to practice. 13. Which of the following best evaluates higher-order thinking in civil service exam preparation? A. Multiple choice recall questions. E. True-false recognition tests. C. Case study analysis requiring justification of choices. D. Matching questions. 14. A training program incorporates group discussions to prepare for the exam. This strategy primarily enhances A. Peer learning and communication skills. B. Passive individual memorization. C. Independent isolation of knowledge. D. Reduced learner accountability. 15. An instructor notices that candidates are disengaged during sessions. Which principle of adult learning can re-engage them? A. Ignoring learner feedback. E. Connecting lessons to personal and professional goals. C. Extending lecture time without interaction. D. Reducing practice activities. 16. Which evaluation technique provides the most comprehensive measure of civil service exam readiness? A. Portfolio assessment of practice exams, essays, and discussions. B. Recording learner attendance. C. Memorization-based flashcards. D. Informal Q&A. 17. A mentor uses reflective questioning to guide learners after practice tests. This strategy supports A. Passive listening. B. Metacognition and self-assessment. C. Memorization without understanding. D. Avoiding responsibility. 18. Which regulatory guideline is most relevant to civil service exam preparation programs? A. Adherence to official testing content outlines. B. Creating new exam sections independently. C. Avoiding alignment with competency frameworks. D. Designing materials outside official standards. 19. An exam facilitator uses visual aids, simulations, and case studies. This teaching style primarily addresses A. One-size-fits-all instruction. B. Diverse adult learning styles and needs. C. Reducing learner engagement. D. Simplifying the curriculum excessively. 20. Which mentoring technique best ensures sustained motivation for civil service candidates? A. Recognizing progress and setting achievable goals. B. Ignoring learner milestones. C. Focusing only on final exam results. D. Discouraging collaborative study. 21. An evaluation plan requires both formative and summative assessments. Which combination meets this requirement? A. Practice quizzes and final mock exam. B. Attendance tracking and oral recitation. C. Self-reflection alone. D. Memorization of exam outlines. 22. A curriculum designer ensures that lessons are sequenced logically, from simple to complex. This approach reflects A. Random content delivery. E. Cognitive scaffolding. C. Ignoring learner readiness. D. Overemphasis on rote learning. 23. Which communication practice enhances exam coaching sessions? A. Active listening and clear clarification of doubts. B. Overloading learners with technical jargon. C. Ignoring nonverbal cues. D. Dismissing learner concerns. 24. A practice exam reveals low performance in reasoning skills. Which instructional adjustment is most effective? A. Incorporating critical thinking exercises and case studies. B. Adding more rote memorization drills. C. Ignoring the results. D. Shortening practice sessions. 25. A candidate's self-confidence is low before the civil service exam. Which mentoring action best addresses this? A. Providing constructive encouragement and goal setting. B. Criticizing mistakes harshly. C. Avoiding emotional support. D. Advising complete withdrawal from testing. 26. A facilitator wants to measure the effectiveness of their civil service review program. Which method is most accurate? A. Pre- and post-assessment comparison. B. Counting the number of sessions held. C. Recording learner punctuality. D. Ignoring outcome measures. 27. A training session requires learners to solve ethical dilemmas related to public service. This activity evaluates A. Recall of memorized content. E. Application of values and reasoning. C. Isolated skill memorization. D. Simple factual recognition. 28. Which adult learning principle ensures civil service candidates take ownership of their learning? A. Facilitator dominance. B. Learner-centered approaches and self-direction. C. Ignoring individual differences. D. Eliminating autonomy. 29. A civil service exam review program includes practice essays. This activity primarily assesses A. Written communication and analytical ability. B. Rote memorization. C. Numerical calculations only. D. Attendance consistency. 30. Which regulatory compliance practice ensures fairness in civil service exam preparation? A. Providing equal access to official resources and materials. B. Restricting study guides to select groups. C. Disregarding state mandates. D. Offering biased support to certain candidates. 31. Which evaluation method best supports continuous mentoring? A. Ongoing progress tracking and feedback sessions. B. Only final outcome measurement. C. Avoiding reflection on performance. D. Eliminating assessment from mentoring.